for our main event of the evening. The problem child, Jake Paul. Nathan Diaz. Let's.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis just blindsided Jake Paul with a punch that sent shockwaves through the entire internet, and it all went down right outside Miami International Airport. No cameras, no ring, no referees, just raw tension exploding into real life. Witnesses screamed, security scrambled, and phones shot up as two of boxing's biggest names, Tank and the Problem Child, nearly turned an airport terminal into a war zone. But the question everyone's asking is, what could have pushed Tank that far? Because after Canelo, you'd think Jake had learned to keep his head down.
Wait is over. It's ready for war. Live from Dallas, Texas, it's go time!
Gervonta "Tank" Davis just blindsided Jake Paul with a punch that shook the internet to its core right outside Miami International Airport. No cameras, no ring, no referees. Just pure chaos as real-life beef spilled out onto the pavement. Witnesses screamed. Security scrambled. Phones flew into the air as two of boxing's biggest names, Tank and the Problem Child, nearly turned an airport terminal into a battlefield. And now everyone's asking the same question. What could have pushed Tank that far? Because after Canelo, you'd think Jake Paul would have learned to stay quiet.
He did say in the post-fight press conference, I had someone that I was going to call out, and then someone asked him, Shakur, and he said, no, someone who came into my locker room. But all the sleuths don't know who came into his locker room.
Some people do.
There's only one name that people are bringing up.
Don't you dare.
There's only one.
Don't you
I'm
dare.
not the
I
one.
ain't got time for this.
There's only one name that people are bringing up.
I don't have time.
And you know who it is.
I do know who it is. I'm not having Jake Paul.
El Gallo. El Gallo de Dorado. El Gallo. Is this?
You know what I will say.
Yeah.
If I'm Jake Paul, and
Jake Paul cruiserweight.
Yeah, against
a
150.
40. Okay, yeah.
150,
sure.
eating a bit.
Yeah.
If I'm Jake Paul, and the Jake Paul Canelo fight was taken from me like that, the only way to go bigger is Gervonta Jake.
It all started with a joke, one that went way too far. When Jake Paul mocked Tank's legal troubles, calling him a walking headline, that hit differently. Because for Gervonta "Tank" Davis, those headlines were real. Not long ago, the Baltimore native and boxing superstar was sent to jail, less than a month after being ordered to serve 3 months of home detention. He'd been taken into custody after an unexpected hearing where the judge ruled he violated the terms of his sentence. Tank had moved from his house to the Four Seasons Hotel, saying his home was too small, but without the court's permission. That decision cost him his freedom. He was ordered to finish his 90-day sentence in Baltimore City Jail, all connected to a 2020 hit-and-run crash that injured 4 people. And if that wasn't enough, Jake didn't stop there. He went after Tank's relationship with Floyd Mayweather, claiming he was just another fighter living in Floyd's shadow. That's when things crossed the line. That's when it stopped being entertainment and turned personal.
Wait is over. It's ready for war. Live from Dallas, Texas, it's go time!
Rewritten script. Continuation polished. Tank stayed silent. No tweets. No interviews. No reactions. But behind that silence, something was building. He was watching. Waiting. Brewing. Then came Miami International Airport. Gervonta was touching down for a private meeting with his team. Focused, locked in, sharpening for his rematch with Lamont Roach. At the same time, Jake Paul was arriving from a business trip, still riding the buzz from his controversial exhibition win over Mike Tyson. 2 men, 2 mindsets, one storm about to break loose. A chance encounter that turned an ordinary airport hallway into a battlefield.
Realize I'm a real killer. I really fucking do this shit. YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Yeah, but you're not going to get, look, you're going to make a ton of money. Listen, I think as a businessman, you are brilliant, right? I give you full credit for that. When you took on Mike Tyson as a business enterprise, there's no argument. You absolutely crushed the numbers, crushed the money and everything else. But the idea that you can say on the one hand, I'm a killer, I get in the ring with the best people, and you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, he's literally nearly as old as me.
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson, I'm talking about Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, champions in their sport, Golden Gloves champions, Ryan.
Rewritten script, confrontation scene, final cut. The moment they locked eyes, it was like watching two grenades without pins roll into the same room. Witnesses said the tension hit instantly. No words, no greetings, no hesitation, just raw hostility thick enough to choke on. And then it happened. Tank closed the distance in a heartbeat, the same lightning speed that's made him one of the most feared punchers in the sport. Jake barely saw it coming. Boom. The same shot that floored Frank Martin, but this time there was no ring, no gloves, no rules, just chaos detonating in the middle of an airport terminal. Security stormed in, people screamed, phones flew into the air. In a matter of seconds, Miami International became a war zone.
What's he about to fight? That's a war. Just like expected.
Rewritten script, aftermath scene, final cut. The internet went nuclear. Clips flooded every feed within minutes. Fans were losing their minds, arguing, posting, replaying every frame from every angle. Some said it was karma, claiming Jake finally got what he'd been asking for after months of reckless talk. Others said Tank crossed the line, that a punch like that belonged in the ring, not an airport terminal. But one thing everyone agreed on, nobody had ever seen anything like it. Then, cutting through the chaos, Jake's voice rang out. "All right, I'm filming." That single line flipped the internet upside down. Because if Jake was already recording, what else did he catch?
Happy with this win, man. I never expected to be here, and this just goes to show that if you're a kid watching at home, you can accomplish anything with hard work and dedication. I swear, if I could do it, I promise you, you could do it. Start now, dedicate yourself, don't take no for an answer, and self-belief is the #1 tool. Believe in yourself.
Rewritten script, why Tank snapped. So, why did Gervonta really snap? Let's be real, Tank's been carrying a mountain of pressure. A rocky split with his longtime coach Calvin Ford. The constant demand to prove he can stand on his own without Floyd Mayweather's guidance. And on top of that, federal raids, legal battles, and non-stop headlines dragging his name through the mud. The man's world has been spinning out of control. And then there's Jake. Jake represents everything Tank hates about this new era of boxing. The influencer invasion, the manufactured hype, and the massive paydays earned without real blood, sweat, or legacy. To Tank, Jake isn't just another fighter. He's a symbol of everything that's wrong with the sport he bled for. And that's what made this personal.
Called out Canelo in the ring. Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
Rewritten script, fuel to the fire. Jake's victory over Mike Tyson back in July only poured gasoline on the fire. To most fans, it was entertainment, a spectacle. But to Tank, it was disrespect. He saw Jake stepping into the ring with a legend pushing 60, turning what once defined greatness into a viral sideshow. And for a fighter who built his career on discipline, danger, and real competition, that was the final straw. Music rises.
Gervonta is going to fight Jake Paul in November, and then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart bit of business.
So, when Jake started cracking jokes about Tank's personal life, his mentorship drama, his legal troubles, even his time behind bars, it wasn't just trash talk. It was insult on top of injury. For Tank, that punch in Miami wasn't about headlines, clout, or revenge. It was about respect, the one thing he refuses to let anyone play with.
Skilled. Even though he's smaller than Jake. It's like you with Mayweather. When you beat Mayweather, you were way bigger than Mayweather. That's why you won.
First person to beat him in history, and he still didn't pay me. Allegedly, in my opinion. Fuck off.
But here's where things take a wild turn. A growing number of fans believe the entire airport incident wasn't real at all, that it was staged, carefully orchestrated from start to finish to build hype. And now, those rumors suddenly make sense. Because it's official. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Jake Paul is happening this November. What started as chaos in an airport might just become one of the biggest fights of the decade.
Pass Roach, and he wanted that Jake Paul fight, which I think Jake Paul would have beaten. Jake is way too big. Tank is 5'5", 135, soaking wet. Y'all think Tank is too small for 140. He ain't beating no heavyweight. I'm not joking. I don't think he would have hurt Jake. He would have to jump up to reach. I don't think he would have hurt him. I tell you this, it would have gone the distance, and people would have been laughing their asses off, and it wouldn't have been good for Tank's brand. I tell you that. That fight would have went the distance. Soon as 5'5" Tank is looking at a 6'2", 6'3" Jake Paul, y'all was like, hold, wait a second. And Jake Paul be on spread out paws with that arm out and stepping back. And bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. But that's a cat. Fine. We'll never get to fight anyway, so we'll never know.
And then came the confirmation. Eddie Hearn himself dropped the bombshell. The fight is officially locked in, set to happen right after Tank wraps up his unfinished business with Lamont Roach in August. For some fans, the timing feels a little too perfect. That viral airport punch? A little too clean. And the silence from both camps? Suspiciously strategic. It's got everyone wondering, was this real beef or brilliant marketing?
Keisha said that he believes Tank needs Jake. Now, when we consider that, he ain't lying. Tank doesn't have another $40 million fight. I don't even think he has another $20 million fight. Who? Devin was offering him 20. He didn't take it. Devin went through what he went through. That's off the table. We got to exclude Ryan. We know he can do it with Ryan. He ain't getting $20 million plus. Certainly not 40 for Lamont.
What about Tio?
No. Yo, listen. Canelo's
getting... not 40.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. When we say Tank needs him, it's because Tank made $40 million with Ryan. Who else can you get up there with? It ain't Tio. Who else? Are people even gonna buy the rematch? Seeing what you did the first time? I won't lie. Statistically, rematches do better. But this wasn't a competitive rematch. This was a dude that blew somebody out.